taking a look at the 2022 United States Senate elections as of May 2020. So we can go ahead and characterize some states for both parties. For the Democrats in many of their strongholds in New England, in New York and such, and for the Republicans in states like Utah, Idaho, the Dakotas, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama, South Carolina, Kentucky, and Indiana, and for the Democrats in Illinois. Now, looking at the map, Republicans are at 42 to Democrats 45. I am going to characterize Alaska as a safe Republican state, but there is lots of interesting information about that and why Lisa Murkowski will win the seat regardless of whether she wins the Republican primary and regardless of what former President Donald Trump does. If you're interested, you should check out the video on my channel and hit the subscribe button. But now back to the Senate. There are some open seats in Missouri, but it has become a traditionally conservative state. Despite almost voting for Barack Obama in 2008, it elected Josh Hawley over Democratic Senator Claire McCaskill in 2018 and gave their 10 electoral votes to Donald Trump in 2020. That's why I'm going to classify it as a likely Republican state. I'm also going to do the same for Florida, where Senator Marco Rubio and the Republican state government are extremely popular. At this time, the polling shows Governor Ron DeSantis having an extremely high approval rating among Democrats and a good rating among, an extremely high approval rating among Republicans and a good approval rating among Democrats. Now, in Colorado, this has been a historically swing state, but since 2016, where it went to Hillary Clinton by a big margin, larger than expected, and in 2020, where it went to President Biden by about 13 points, we can classify it as a likely Democratic state. We can also characterize the state of Pennsylvania as a lean Democratic state, as is Nevada. Now, Pennsylvania is more competitive than, so if we look at the Rust Belt states, the most competitive is Wisconsin, then it's Pennsylvania, and finally Michigan. Michigan tends to favor the Democratic Party and went to Donald Trump by the smallest margin in 2016 and to Joe Biden by the biggest margin in 2020. Pennsylvania is right in the middle, and in 2016 in Pennsylvania, Pat Toomey, this was a red wave year, not as big as 2014 or 2010, but it was a red wave year. And incumbent Senator Pat Toomey won a re-election by only 1.5 points. Looking at this open seat with many Trumpist nominees in the Pennsylvania party is extremely Trump supportive. I mean, some county parties censured Senator Toomey for voting to convict Donald Trump. It does seem like a very Trumpism and based candidate who really embraces the former president would be likely to be nominated. And in a state like Pennsylvania, looking at the results, they are unlikely to gain any traction, especially against a popular candidate like Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman or even Pennsylvania Representative Conor Lamb. In Nevada, it has been a swing state, and it was competitive this election season. Joe Biden only won by 2.4 points, far less than Hillary Clinton. But in 2018, Jackie Rosen beat Dean Heller, the Republican incumbent, by a big margin, and Catherine Cortez Masto is popular. Furthermore, in the state, there are not many good candidates, which is why I think it's a lean Democratic state. In Iowa, in Iowa, it's a lean Republican state. Because the reason I do believe this characterization is because right now there is Senator Chuck Grassley, but a majority of Iowans want him to retire, and if he does retire, then they could get someone fresher, younger, who's more likely to resonate with some centrist voters, and they could beat the Democratic nominee, even if it is a popular candidate, like Theresa Greenfield. Like if you look at this election, Theresa Greenfield in Iowa came within 5 points of winning. And if there's a new incumbent, like if Chuck Grassley is running again, Theresa Greenfield has a chance. But if it's a younger nominee, there's not that much chance. Also, if Chuck Grassley does run and he wins and he retires midway, it's a special election would be held, and it's historically the opposing party usually wins special elections in both the Senate and the House, just like the Republican Party won in Texas on May 1st. And looking at this map, that's why Iowa is a lean Republican state. In Wisconsin, it is a tilt Republican state because it is one of the most competitive states in the union after Arizona and Georgia. And it narrowly went to Donald Trump. It narrowly went to Joe Biden. And it has a Republican Senator, Ron Johnson. If he does retire, we'd be having an interesting set of results. United States Senate 2000. Let's go back. Actually, 20 other elected there. And the same time, Ron Johnson won re-election, extremely shocking underdog victory for him against former Senator Russ Feingold. A rematch of Russ Feingold's loss against Ron Johnson in 2010. He won a majority, but Ron Johnson did say his preference was to retire, and if he goes ahead doing that, that would mean it is an easy Democratic pickup. However, Donald Trump has pressurized Ron Johnson to run to ensure that the Republicans don't lose further seats in the Senate and they have a chance at control. That's why I think it is a lean Republican, almost a tilt, and if the polling does continue and Biden is doing well, could very well become a tilt Republican and even a toss-up or tilt Democratic state. And now in the state of Ohio, I think that is a lean Republican state. Rob Portman, the incumbent senator here, did do quite well in his re-election bid back in 2016. The same year Donald Trump won Ohio, he won in the state by a huge margin. I mean, look at this. He won by about, if we do the math, he won by about 20 points. And that's a big thing in a state that went to Barack Obama in 2008. And if we look back here in 2010, Rob Portman won here by a big margin. About 27 points just 2 years after Barack Obama won in the state. He has a history of doing well, but now that he's retiring, it is more competitive. But if we look at it based on Ohio's trends and how it went for Donald Trump, it is a lean Republican state because this is the first time Ohio voted for presidential candidate that lost in modern American history. And it is close to a tilt, similar to Wisconsin. It's close to a lean, but it is not yet there. Now in the state of New Hampshire, it is a tilt Democratic state right now. Incumbent Maggie Hassan does have the incumbency privilege, but if Governor Chris Sununu runs extremely popular, it could very well go to a tilt Republican state, or even a likely Republican state, maybe even a lean, depending on the circumstances. But at this today in May, it is a tilt Democratic state, and Maggie Hassan is doing well. Biden continues well, and Chris Sununu does not run. It is a likely Democratic hold. In Arizona, another tilt Democratic state. Mark Kelly not as popular as Kyrsten Sinema in the state, especially around the filibuster reform issue, but it is likely that he will be reelected based on the current trends, with President Biden doing extremely well and a Trump-backed candidate who will win in the Arizona party, which is to be expected with people like Kelly Ward in charge over there of Trump supporters. She likely would support a Trumpist candidate, and that could potentially urge moderates and alienate the swing voters in Arizona to go for Mark Kelly, the popular former astronaut senator who has become a big presence in the Senate. Now 2 states remain, but we can project a Democratic majority with Kamala Harris in North Carolina, a Republican lean state here. Richard Burr, the incumbent senator, is retiring, and obviously there are some candidates like former Governor Pat McCrory or Laura Trump or similar individuals who run for this seat. There's a chance Democrats can make the pickup, but looking at the historical party trends in the state, Barack Obama won in 2008, but no Democrat has won this state since 2008. Furthermore, in the 2014 Senate election, incumbent Democrat Kay Hagan lost re-election to Thom Tillis. In 2020, Cal Cunningham lost election to his challenge to Thom Tillis. And even if not for the October surprise, many political pundits, including myself, believe it would have been a narrow Republican win. And that's why we're classifying it as a lean Republican. Last but certainly not least, in Georgia, I do consider it a lean Democratic state. Tilt. Because at this point, Joe Biden is a popular there, especially with the American Rescue Plan and some of his infrastructure plans and the American Families Plan. It is popular here. But this is I would say the three most competitive states here are New Hampshire, Wisconsin, and Georgia. Looking at this, Democrats are at 49. If we want to do the most five, I would say Arizona, Pennsylvania both come here, and that puts Democrat at 47. And if we do want to do the top 10, you'd also include North Carolina, Ohio, Iowa, Florida, and Missouri, putting Democrats higher. But all in all, Democrats are in a better position coming into 2020, which is why I believe that the Democrats will control the United States Senate, if not expand their majority there. However, do note New Hampshire is the closest state at this point, and it could easily go to the Republicans. And following that is Georgia. And for the Democrats, the two most competitive are Wisconsin and North Carolina. But at this day, and this month, I expect Democrats to have this similar electoral map to this when they come into 2022. Thank you for watching, and please hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. And again, if you're interested in this, you should check out the video on the Alaska 2022 Senate election, ranked choice voting, and how Lisa Murkowski can win, regardless of whether she wins the Republican nomination or even if Donald Trump comes to Alaska and campaigns against her.